And once again today, I do another episode of Banana Fish. We're good to go, we're good to go, we're good to go. So yes, episode 20 of Banana Fish sure was interesting, I must say. I mean, Ash went full-blown Batman. I was like, wow, that was kind of scary. Like, the whole entire thing in the museum, I was like, wow, I'm quite terrified right now. And then, yeah, I kind of, after the stream, just thought to myself more and more, because I swear I mentioned it during the stream, that Blanca basically became Ra's al Ghul in a way. That kind of mentor-esque kind of character, more in the Batman Begins universe than I guess the comic book universe, if you know what I mean, if you've watched the films. He feels very much like a kind of Ra's al Ghul kind of character. It's actually mildly interesting. Seeing their dynamic kind of slowly shift as time goes on is quite interesting to say the least. So yeah, today actually I'll cover episode 21 of Banana Fish. I actually have no idea what's going to happen next, because now we kind of got the idea that Lee's become a more of an adversary against Ash. Like, beforehand, you kind of like, I wonder what's going on now, I wonder what's going to happen. Is he an enemy? Isn't he an enemy? Because his alliances were always kind of very much not very, I guess, like, shown in a way. He wasn't always kind of leaning to one side or the other. It's always kind of just in the middle in a way. But now it's kind of more that he is his enemy at this point. He's now going to go against him. So it might be interesting to see what Season 3 happen there, because now we don't have just one antagonist, we actually have two antagonists. So we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. Anyway, so actually put into actually gone live. So, gone live for Banana Fish episode 21. And with that, and with that, and with that, and with that, I do believe, can I believe? We're good to go. So yes, I do apologise. I should mention also, I do apologise actually not being here yesterday. It's because yesterday was just, it's one of those days that just everything was happening. I was like, my god, my brain needs a break for like 5 seconds. I wasn't getting a break at all, and my brain was just like, please do just give me a break at this point. It was quite a day. So I actually wasn't here yesterday. So I think it's the first episode I actually kind of missed of Banana Fish since I actually started doing it. So I do apologise. Hopefully it does actually happen again. I actually don't know what happens with my schedule at this point. It sort of just happens. You're like, oh. So anyway, let's actually put Amazon to full screen. Let's get shown the road. So, in 3, 2, 1, that should begin this thing absolutely now. He's so adorable. He's so cute. Oh no. I actually kind of like the fact that you actually mentioned the fact that the good luck charm was for love and not for anything else. And I thought, when you think about it, he actually did find love. It's a little cute moment when you think about it. I thought it was actually a really like little cute moment. I thought, oh, Because when you think about it, they actually kind of found love in each other. It was actually one of the nicer things about the series as a whole. Is the fact they actually kind of found love in each other. So when you think about it, the charm actually did work. But yeah, I still can't get over last week's episode when it with Ash becoming Batman in a way. It was actually kind of scary because he knows how to kill a person. He even mentioned it to Lee, like he knows how to kill a person. And it's just like you're kind of just sitting there going, yeah, that's kind of terrifying. Because you know he's been this kind of person that actually, in a way, is kind of you can't really take him down, but still, just seeing him mention it just makes you kind of like, oh yeah, it's scary. You've seen it, but him mentioning it even more so makes it even more scary. He's so adorable. Come on, please. He's so adorable. Oh. Oh. Though I still wonder whether or not this actual arc will deal with the downfall of Lee's character, because it kind of did last week. It kind of dealt with his downfall, but possibly there might be a rise in his character. But then, personally speaking, he might be losing it slowly as time goes on. I wonder if Max will play into the final confrontation as well, somehow. I haven't mentioned it already, but the colour palette in this episode's freaking on point. It's freaking nice. I always find Max to be the most underrated character in Banana Fish, actually, because he's an amazing character when he actually gets his time to actually kind of shine. Which is practically all the time, really. But he's just an amazing character all the time. He's just gotten better as time goes on. Even when shots don't require it, the actual color palette is amazing. Like, it's every single shot just has something going on in there. It's really dynamic. Even static shots are still really freaking good. Oh no. Oh, please don't kill him as well. Oh no. He's so adorable. Just look at him, he's so adorable. That shot was actually pretty cool, to be honest. The way it was just running, the camera just stationary, that was actually quite cool. Oh, please don't. Aww. Oh boy, that was quite episode. That was quite the episode, actually, I must say. I mean, I hate the fact that I actually kind of raised a death flag for Max just now. I thought, please don't stop it. I like him as a character a lot. He's basically his dad. Just stop, okay? Just stop doing that. I love Max a lot. He's a great character. As time went on, he got even better. But man, it's one of those things you just can't trust this narrative anymore because stuff just happens. You're like, please stop. Like, I start pleading with the writers, like, please just stop causing me more emotional stress. Just please stop it. I require none of this stress at this point. But yeah, I mean, the episode overall was actually quite interesting because we got the idea of what's really happening to Lee's character as well, which actually was very interesting because he's a character who's trying to, like, kind of go against his own, like, kind of past in a way, especially his family as well. But he's just reenacting the same things that they did beforehand. It's one of those very interesting kind of ideas, this idea that Blanca said, look, you try to get away from this idea, but yet you're still doing it. It's kind of interesting because he's kind of not learned anything. And I guess it kind of goes back to this idea that possibly maybe he can't actually control a situation when it goes out of hand. He has an idea of how it's meant to go down, but if it doesn't go down the way he expects it, then stuff like this happens. And actually, that's probably might be one of the cases to why he's this way. Possibly it's just because he wants blood at this point. He's a person that just wants to kind of stir up even more trouble for Ash, so he'll just do anything in his power to actually do so. There might be also another kind of interpretation of his character, but it's actually very interesting, this idea that we're kind of getting a downfall of his character from a psyche point of view when you think about it. It's kind of less of a kind of a physical change and more of a kind of a mental change when you think about it, because he's sort of gone through all of the emotions throughout this whole entire series. He's kind of gone from being okay to being kind of crazy to being this kind of crazy you just can't expect to actually know what happens next, because you always now kind of fear what he's going to do. You don't know when he's going to show up. That's the problem with him, is that you don't really know his actual motive, his actual moves now. You don't even know what he's going to do next, and it's kind of scary when you think about it, because you're like, okay, we've got Dino to actually contend with, we've got this new guy to contend with as well, we've got Colonel Fox to contend with, but then you also got Lee in the background, which actually just paints an even more kind of scarier perspective, because you're kind of like, okay, so say Ash manages to take down every other person in this whole vicinity, he still has Lee in the background, because we know Lee's his enemy at this point, so it's just kind of scary. You can't really predict it. You can't really predict what he's going to do next. And I kind of fear even more so the end of this narrative at this point, because I was like, yeah, I'm scared of this narrative to actually where it goes next, but I'm even more so now, because there's way too many adversaries for Ash at this point that actually come and make me go, okay, he might be safe. I mean, the end of the episode just kind of proves that whole entire point, like, kind of correct. This idea that he just can't escape anything. Even when people that aren't a part of his past come back, he just can't escape, and it's actually kind of scary. Like, when you think about it, like, he's actually, like, Dino's able to employ these people that actually can really take down Ash, and it's just kind of terrifying, even though he tries his best to kind of get away from it. And I kind of didn't like the fact that actually kind of raised raised Max's actual death flag at that very one point after he did that thing for Ash as well, kind of saying, look, don't think about this anymore. I know it's hard to, just don't think about it anymore. I thought, please don't raise his death flag at this point, but then he did afterwards. I was like, damn it, really? I was like, why would you do that to me? I like him, okay? Because it was true. Like, even Max is giving him kind of a way out in a way, kind of allowing him to actually kind of forget a part of his past he really wants to forget. It might be very hard to, but he actually is allowing him to kind of just say forget about it and kind of just do the right thing you want to do right now. So I actually kind of find it interesting, this idea that, in a way, Max has basically become his dad, in a way. It was actually a very interesting character dynamic they actually share. He's more of a, as time went on, he became more of a father figure towards Ash, the kind of father he didn't really have, the kind of father he actually needs at this very one point in the narrative as well, this kind of person he can turn to besides AG as well. So I'm kind of like, please don't raise the death flag, and it just raised it twice. I was like, god damn it. So please don't. Absolutely please don't. So yeah, I mean, I have no idea what to expect from this narrative at this point. I have no idea what can actually happen. And yeah, I mean, I like AG. I love AG, but you know what I mean. I like AG's episode as well because it's one of those things. He's a very smart character when you kind of don't expect it to actually kind of happen. Like when you think about it, he's a character who actually knows what he's actually talking about. And I actually kind of like that about him because he's a character that kind of plays a secondary role to what Ash is doing. But it doesn't mean anything, because actually him, in theory, he actually is a very kind of vital part to the whole entire dynamic of the group. He's kind of Ash's actual kind of stone rock. Is it rock in a way? Is actually how you say the saying? He's basically Ash's rock. But you know what I mean? He's a person who actually can in theory know how to handle a situation in the sense of kind of in the background. He's a person who knows how to say things that actually doesn't in theory ignite an idea. And I actually kind of like that about him because it kind of takes him out of being just that role of being there. He's actually a very more active person. It's just, he's more of a kind of background kind of character. But I like him because he's always in the foreground. So it's one of those things that the way they actually kind of use him as a character in the narrative, more than just him being there for Ash, is very interesting. It's kind of one of those things actually I really do appreciate this narrative for it. The way they actually kind of use AG's character actually kind of allow him to actually become this better character than what he actually was beforehand. Yeah, he's not much of a fighter, but he's more of a strategist. Say it correctly. There we go. Said it first time. So it's a very interesting kind of dynamic they actually kind of share. And I just like the downtime that actually get together as well because it's kind of nice. It reminds me of the older times. I mean, yeah, we can't really kind of say this is going to go back to the older times, but it just kind of reminds you. It's those little bits that kind of remind you of the older times of the show, especially when Jessica came back into the actual picture as well. I like that because it kind of reminds you of like parts of the narrative that actually weren't so harsh on the emotions. It was one of those things I do appreciate it because it's one of those things that it's, even when times are tough, there's always that little bit of kind of just downtime in the middle. And it's kind of nice. It just breaks the tension slightly. It breaks the tension it needs to, and actually kind of appreciate it for that reason. It's one of those episodes that really just kind of, yeah, it had a lot going on, in terms of emotionally, but then it had those breaks, and I just kind of thought to myself, yeah, we need this more in narratives, because narratives do tend to actually kind of go a bit too into this whole entire idea of not giving the viewer a break when it comes to emotion, and sometimes it actually kind of very dampen the experience slightly for you, because you're kind of like, oh Christ, just give me a break slightly. I mean, yeah, there's been times in this show where it's been like relentless in the sense of how it's actually kind of been emotionally kind of impactful, but there's always been that one point that actually kind of just broke the tension slightly, and I always did appreciate about this narrative, is the way that actually kind of broke the tension perfectly at points in the narrative. So yeah, I mean, we'll have to see what happens next, because it's gonna be quite the finale, as they say. We're basically in the final stretch at this point. We've got like 3 weeks left, I believe. I believe the series ends on 20th of December, so we've got like a good 20 days left until we'll see the end of the show. But it's going to be quite a doozy of a final, I must say, because it's kind of going all-out warfare at this point. It's just like, you don't know who's safe, you don't know who's alright, and now Sting's back in the picture, so is AG as well. It's one of those things. I also kind of appreciated Sting's character in this episode as well, because he's a character that's actually slowly rising up in a sense of a character, and actually quite like how they've handled his character as well, because he's a character that actually kind of went from kind of what the hell's going on here to actually kind of a bit more of an active person, and actually slowly growing as a person, because he's kind of stuck there wondering what would Shorter do, but now he's actually able to actually kind of just find a way, carve his own niche in a way, and actually kind of lead a group of people in a way. It's actually kind of interesting to see his rise as a character, so I actually hope they're actually doing free give him even more time as time goes on, because actually he's an amazing character on his own. I actually quite like him. So yeah, that is me done for today. So actually, as always, if you have enjoyed this whole entire stream as a whole on Twitch, then do leave that good old follow, because indeed it does help me quite a bit. And if you actually have enjoyed it here on YouTube and you do want to leave a like, then do leave a like, because indeed it does help me quite a bit. And if you actually have enjoyed it here on YouTube and you do want to stay a bit longer, then do leave a sub, because indeed it does help me quite a bit. And if you want to stay a little bit longer after that whole entire point, then do in theory follow me on Twitter, because indeed it does help me quite a bit. On Twitter, you will then find out what these streams go live, and the other streams I do as well. And if Twitter is not your thing, I do in theory have a Discord server as well. Actually, does in theory tell you when these streams go live, and the other streams I do as well. But until next time with episode 22 of Banana Fish, I will see you guys later. Bye for now.